Okay, welcome to the KHB podcast. I am Ryan Kelly. I have Ben Manship here with me. Ben is the owner of Big Ben's Flooring and recently just struck a deal with us at KHB to become partners and do a full rebrand to KHB Vinyl and Hardwood Flooring. And we are very excited to announce that. And so, Ben, if you want to give a little bit of your background, history in the flooring industry, certifications, and what you're excited about moving forward with KHB.
Sure. Like Ryan said, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be a part of our team here. You know, I started in flooring when I was 15 years old, right? So,
jeez. And how old are you now?
I'm 43.
That's some time in the industry.
Yeah, a little bit of time ago.
Yeah.
So I started out laying carpet in the Sands Regency Casino in Reno.
Okay.
So I wanted to grow up too fast. My dad always said, you're either going to go to school or learn a trade. So I learned a trade.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot funner. So I started when I was 15, but I got tired of paying rent as a 15-year-old living out of state outside of my parents' house. So I was pretty happy to move back to the rent-free bedroom that I had. But my flooring journey didn't stop there. I started again in flooring when I came back here to California, and more or less, except for a 7-year sabbatical where I was a residential building superintendent, I've been in flooring that whole time.
Awesome. And what certifications have you really gathered? What accolades do you have in the industry?
Yeah, so we start out with a C15 contractor's license. Mm-hmm. That's the one that I got first. I was the first one done in the class. It was like,
yeah,
it was like
those tests are kind of like,
I could close my eyes and pass the C15.
Yeah,
I've been in it for so long. The C54 was a little bit harder for me because I don't have hands-on experience installing tile personally for an eternity, right? So that one was a little bit rougher, but those are the two licenses that we hold. The C15 covers all flooring types except for ceramic tile. The C54 allows you to do backsplashes and showers and curbs and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Certifications, beyond that, we believe in certifications. We believe in them because what's the difference between us and everybody else?
Nothing, because you hold the same license as every other contractor doing flooring and tile.
Exactly, right? And all of these contractors, even though they can pass a license test, it doesn't mean that they were taught the right way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of arguments that can happen amongst flooring contractors and flooring employees.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. And there's a lot of ways to prep a floor and how to install flooring. And the ways that you learn from what you told me, the certificates you have, being an inspector, like a licensed inspector for that as well. Tell us about like the industry standards and the quality standards that really you take to heart when you're going into someone's home and replacing their home's floors.
There's nothing that bothers me more, Ryan, than selling someone a floor that I feel is a value, and then having that floor come apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I mean, and that has happened, right?
It happens to everybody.
It happened
every once in a while.
Yeah. When we first started out too, taking on projects that might have not been in our wheelhouse, and you kind of have to, either use a trade partner or figure it out yourself. And, that's just being inexperienced beginning in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, you're only as good as the guy that trained you.
100%.
And the guy that trained you could train you wrong.
Yeah.
I've probably worked over the last 12 years in running a company, over 100 different installers. And when I get these installers, on the subject of LVP plank flooring, for instance, they may know how to install and click together a floor, but it doesn't mean they know how to prep a floor. Mm-hmm. And so what we did is we decided, well, since one installer can't just say that he's right and another installer say that he's wrong, there has to be a Bible, so to speak, right? A neutral authority that says what the right way is, correct?
Yeah.
So in our industry, in the flooring industry, we have something called certified flooring installers, or CFI for short. And we took the time to get certified in every category with CFI. So it's really cool. You fly out to a location, you install flooring in these little boxes, and they say, well, that's right, that's wrong, or they say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's really fun to go there and work with other people in the industry, because you're only surrounded by people who love flooring.
And who want to get better.
Right.
Right? Because, I mean, there's always a constant learning. whether it's, learning more about how to operate your business, learning more about your craft, maybe specialties within your craft.
Right.
So it's really cool to meet those people at those, trade events, and because everyone's there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Right? They all want to bring more value to their customers.
Yeah. If a contractor is going to spend money and spend his time to fly somewhere, then that's a person that loves what they do and is really trying to give our customers what they deserve.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem in our industry, don't you think?
Yeah, and that's something I kind of want to steer this conversation to is, you've been in this industry since you were 15.
Yeah.
Right? Like 30 years, pretty much, right? That's a wealth of experience being in people's homes, installing floors, dealing with customers. I'm sure you've seen everything from good, bad to the very ugly in customer management, working for other people and, having issues starting your business.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important customer experience point when you're going into someone's personal home? You're going to be tearing out their floors, which is extremely invasive, either grinding down that slab or self-leveling. Tell me what is very important that you see to customers and what you do process-wise to address those needs.
Well, there's a two-component part to that question, Ryan. I feel that how a person feels about their installation is different than how the installation actually is, or it can be. So being in this industry for so long, when I was an installer, I remember one job specifically that I took over from another employee that was better than me, right?
That was humbling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was asked not to come back. And they said, "Hey, Ben, can you go install this 3,000 square feet?" And I said, "Yeah, all the hard work is done." He'd already demoed it, tore out the tile, leveled the floor. He was one of the best floor levelers, which is a skill that not all flooring installers have.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest problems that I have when we hire new people is they may know how to click boards together and undercut door jambs and install baseboard, but they don't know how to level correctly.
Which is the most important part when we're talking about warranty, longevity of that floor. Like you could have a $12 square foot floor, but if your subfloor is, an ocean, it's not going to do much for
and we see that
install.
A lot, Ryan. We see that a lot with engineered glued direct floor over concrete slabs near water.
Yeah.
And people don't moisture test. We see it a lot in blow and go companies. So there's a lot of stores out there that have done the math, and I've worked for some of them, where we've had conversations in the office about leveling, and the owner of the shop says, "I don't want you guys to pull out a level. I just want you to lay the floor and we'll roll the dice."
Yeah.
They say that.
They're out there.
They're out there more than you realize. And a lot of it isn't even the store owner. It's just the installer doesn't call the office, doesn't check the floor.
Yeah.
And
and my biggest issue, because we see this in general contracting when we're doing, a full renovation where a homeowner is getting multiple bids, and there's a few that are just extreme outlier in price, $20,000, $30,000 less than all the other competitors on that job. And same thing in flooring. That tells me that they obviously aren't bidding this accurately to what it entails. And same thing with flooring. Like if someone's not putting prep in there, prep is one of the most demanding aspects of installing a floor. And it's the one most important part too. And so if you get in there and you're only bidding out, you're not bidding any prep and then you open it up. That's an avenue to get change ordered as a customer too. Which I have found in our industry is one of the biggest issues in contracting is like, yeah, here's the price, but then, 2, 3, 4 weeks into the job, that price is now, 20, 30, sometimes 50% of the original contract price.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue I see that customers have that, we at KHB, and that's why I think we value this partnership so much, is because we align in those ethics of contracting where the price is the price. And everything unforeseen kind of has been accounted for, and there's not going to be a 50% increase on the contract price during the project.
Yeah, it's a change orders is a big thing in the contracting world. A lot of people like to secure the bid going on in at that lowest price. They leave a bunch of stuff out of the bid, and then once they have the job,
their bids on a napkin or less than half a page for something that requires really 10 or 15 pages to truly describe.
Yeah. The professionalism of KHB flooring is what first was appealing to me. just the technology, the advancements, be able to use all the tools that we have at hand, because historically the flooring industry is kind of archaic.
Yeah, construction in general. I mean, we're seeing the new age of contractors come in, which I think, we're in that group. But yeah, the single man shows that are running everything off pen and paper, it's very archaic.
Yeah. And it's a devaluation to the homeowner too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems that are eliminated when you use technology. So on the technology front, when we go out as KHB Flooring and measure on the construction side, you use a Matterport camera, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And I use a digital laser that Bluetooths to our flooring program so that we can actually show you a footprint of all of the areas that get installed.
And give clarity. This is where we're not doing anything, or this is where carpet's going, this is where tile's going, this is where LVP is going. You can be it's not just, we're doing new flooring and we'll figure it out the day one we're on the job.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more thought out.
One of the biggest experiences that I've heard people have is a woe to using big box stores, for example, is not understanding what flooring locations they purchased.
Yeah.
They'll purchase a floor and they'll think that they have a bedroom too, along with their other 2 bedrooms that's getting new carpet, for instance. And then when the carpet shows up, there's no carpet for bedroom 2.
And in that same breath, you don't know if the guy you bought the floor from, if their crew is actually going to be installing that floor. They basically shotgun these jobs out to a bunch of, random guys with a license.
Yeah.
And sometimes not licensed.
Yeah.
And you just have a random person showing up at your home. They don't necessarily have a full scope of work or any takeoff.
The pull up the blinders off on that situation is another thing that's predominantly happening in our industry, the flooring industry, where a person will buy at a store and they won't realize that the person that's coming to install their floor has no connection or association with that store at all.
Yeah.
So a lot of these stores, what they do is they sub out the work to a licensed contractor, and then that licensed contractor will send his nephew, his cousin, his relatives from another part of the world out there and that learned flooring.
He's texting buddies like, hey, anyone available for a flooring job tomorrow?
They're FaceTiming like, how do you cut 45 corners again?
Yeah.
So that you never know who you're going to get, which is a big difference here at KHB Flooring.
Yeah, we self-perform.
Yeah.
It's our guys. We're measuring it. We're selling it. We're installing it. We back the warranty. We back the timeline of install.
And on that
makes a difference.
And that relationship is congruent and fluent too. So a lot of flooring stores you may purchase from a salesman, but then a different person comes and measures, and then a different person schedules, and a different person that you have no idea is coming installs, and then a different person calls you and collects payment. There's no relationship across that install. There's no trust. There's no time to build any trust.
Well, and it's desensitized. And that's something I want to talk about in tech and what we use. The oncoming of AI into the trades, the oncoming of all the technology that we use. It's the world that we're in is already pretty desensitized, to customer experience. Most contractors don't have a clear customer process or customer experience, guidelines that they follow. And when you're dealing with a box store like that and you're dealing with 10 different people, the human to human relationship's gone. And, I was in a conference in January that talked about this, and it was a sales conference about, do you want to be like Amazon, or do you want to be, that mom and pop feel where people feel comforted? And that's the biggest issue I found with people that are looking to cut price. Like, of course, you can find it cheaper going to Home Depot or Lowe's or, a vendor locally in town.
And sometimes you can't.
Well, sometimes you can. That's true.
Sometimes it's the same price.
But you're not gonna have that we talked about small, big business, right? You're not gonna have that small business feel where someone who measured your floor, sold your floor, is also backing you up with operations, because that same team is going to be installing that floor and taking care of you, enacting the warranty, taking any punch list calls. Whereas if you go somewhere that's, an Amazon or a big store, you're just getting a robot on the phone, or you're getting like a, press 4 and wait for 30 minutes and schedule your warranty. And then whoever's coming out that did the install probably isn't coming out to do the warranty. So now you have to catch that person up on exactly what happened. And it's just a mess.
It's a disconnect. For sure.
It is a disconnect. Yeah. So I want to elaborate a little bit more on the tech side of things. And, here at KHB, we are our tech stack's pretty large, right? We use it for general process. We use it for internal teams. We use it for customer communication in some ways as well. So like our general process is, one, someone fills out a form on our website. They get a text message that's automated. They get an email that's automated. They get a phone call from us, usually within the hour that they fill out that form. Then we move forward with an on-site consult. Once again, we have tech involved. We do have laser, tape measures. We do have the Matterport LiDAR camera that scans and also takes measurements. We use Loom to communicate with our subcontractors, describing the Matterport 3D walkthrough. Our customer gets access to all this. We have a marketing team that is out there with cameras and all these crazy tools to, capture all this content. We invoice digitally. We do all these things digitally. Like tech it's a good asset for a company in construction. Now, with previously Big Ben's, I know you guys had a lot of tech stack that you guys used, like the Bluetooth, tape measures, and all that stuff for your tools. What are you excited about moving forward that you can add into your process to better bring value to customers?
I think the biggest thing I'm excited about is the new measuring system that you're developing right now.
Yeah.
The ability to go into a house, take measurements, and then give a person the price on site immediately. Yeah. One of the biggest things that we hear on our measures when we're called out and it's already been measured before is they came and measured and we never heard from them again.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. Or they came and measured, we purchased, and we haven't had an installation date, and it's been 2 months. We had one from 2 weeks ago. We went out to their house. They'd purchased somewhere else. The company didn't move furniture. They didn't do casing. There's all of these we don't do's. And they had told the customer that their master bedroom was out of level and the level needed to be fixed before we laid the new carpet. And carpet doesn't need a level floor underneath it.
Yeah.
There's nothing when you're stretching in carpet and pad, you don't need a level floor. So they gave them 3 stopping points from before they could get their carpet installed, when the flooring store that they purchased from should have been able to facilitate all 3 of those things for them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that the other stores don't do that we try to help them out on site with.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that estimating process that we're going to be building. It's going to be a good, better, best system that, takes your measurements right into the program. We could pick the type of floor per room. We have our historic costs in there. We have prep tiers, where it could be like a level 1 prep would be like a simple, pretty new home, flat foundation, all the way to level 5, like an older home that we're going to have extensive prep and leveling to do. So I'm really excited. We're building that out right now. The other thing with tech, specifically the AI thing, like while we were shooting videos earlier, I was, looking up AI call centers and how we can really download our brains into an AI module and have it be on a protocol to answer all these questions that homeowners, ask. The whole reason why we're shooting podcasts and videos to educate our homeowners. We could train an AI bot essentially to answer all those questions. What do you see coming up that, one, you're either worried about in the trades, or one that you're kind of excited to integrate into our current processes?
Well, I think that one of the things I'm worried about in our trade is the big box store and Amazon.
They got a lot of FU money.
Yeah.
And they can do kind of whatever they want.
They really can.
Yeah.
When we went to a flooring convention, that's one of the things we do. We fly down to Las Vegas and go to what's called Surfaces, where it's just like a giant flooring circus, 5-10 level, huge. How many square feet it is, I have no idea, but it's giant.
Is that the convention center?
Yeah.
In Vegas? Okay.
Yeah,
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So my concern with the industry, what we learn at these conventions is in Vegas, we fly down there and we do training, and we listen to the manufacturers that are worldwide manufacturers of flooring.
Yeah.
So Shaw and Mohawk are the largest manufacturing of flooring in the world. Warren Buffett owns Shaw.
No way.
Yeah.
He owns Shaw Flooring?
Yeah. Warren Buffett bought Shaw.
He would.
Yeah, he would. So box stores account for 53% of the flooring installed in the United States. So
probably 90% of the floors that get torn out.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we see all the time.
Yeah.
And we went through a period for about 10 years where we, as an installation company on the side, installed for for a box store. And what we found is the people selling the flooring, that's the problem. Like I would go to do what we called PKs, which is product knowledge in the box stores with the flooring people. But the problem is the flooring guy was from Yard and Garden the week before, and then this other flooring associate came from appliances. Yeah. And they have no background in flooring, so whenever someone comes in and says, "Hey, I need a new floor in my kitchen," they'll sell them a non-waterproofed laminate.
Yeah, and that's what scares me is how they're going to productize the service in such a way where it's going to truly be a next day order type thing where you put your square footage in, you pick the color material you like, you click buy.
Yeah.
Right? That's like what's next. We're already seeing it in kitchens and baths, like with rebath or maid renovation. A lot of different tech companies that got into, the service-based industries, and they're basically creating a multi-layered service where they're doing like a SaaS-oriented application, and then they're also backing up with subbing out the actual service, and they're making it like a click-to-order type thing, which in our space, like we take high quality and high pride in what we do, right? Most of our renovations are custom. The flooring installs are always different. The process can be repetitive, but the end product is always unique to that customer's needs, right? They're taking that out. And that's what I'm really worried about is they're taking away like the humanization of the trades and the service industry. Like productizing a business is like, they talk about TVR, which is like teachable, valuable, repeatable. Very important to do if you want to have a very profitable business, if you're going to exit or whatever. But as far as for really the health of the industry, I think it's going to hurt in a lot of ways.
We're going to see a lot more people over the years, and that number most likely will grow, of getting a 2 or 3 years out of a lifetime floor.
Yeah.
Or again, when you have the wrong floor put in the wrong location, it could be installed perfectly.
Well, when you leave it to a homeowner who isn't quite educated on what they need, and you just put, hypocritically, you just put videos in front of them to educate them on like, yeah, you could do a waterproof laminate here, but that warranty for that water resistance, not waterproof, water resistant floor is going to be way less than if they went with like a true LVP, like a composite flooring, or, even a tile instead. They're not getting all the nuances of how that floor is going to perform. No. They're just clicking buy now. Yeah. Right. Or, hey, there's a flash sale, do 2 bedrooms, get your living room for free. Like buy now. And
there's all sorts of sales gimmicks. One of my favorite, and when I say favorite, I mean most detested sales gimmick is whenever they put promotions together where you get free installation. So free installation.
I talk about this all the time with free design.
Oh yeah,
like bite me. It's not free.
Free installation. Ugh. So I worked for the box stores that offered the free installation, and on carpet, for instance.
What was the margin on labor?
Yeah. So what they do is they just add the labor price into the carpet cushion, because everybody costs carpet and they cost labor. They may price check it at other stores, but not very many people price check the pad.
Yeah. So you get the carpet free.
They mark up the pad 100%. Yeah. And then that's what covers your free labor that you think that you're getting.
Which is, so actually pricing is a good one to talk about too. Because there's a lot of tactics. You can anchor, you can use scarcity, there's a bunch of different sales tactics in psychology really to manipulate a buy, which I'm against, right? I'm very transparent. Even when I'm about to pull like a tactic out of my tool belt, I tell the homeowner, like, I'm still a salesperson and here's what I'm going to say, right? Like I make a joke about it because like it's so cheesy when salespeople like try to use these smoke and mirrors to persuade a buy. So one of the things I'm excited about with our process in sales and how we actually price things out is that it is a hard cost, right? We go by a gross profit over duration model, an equation that we built. That is a true accurate cost that one ensures we're a fair price to the customer, but it also ensures that we are making what we need to make as a company to still grow, be profitable, treat our employees right, and treat our customers right. Because if we're giving a lifetime warranty, we got to be around for life in order to back that up, you know? So I really like the model that we're changing to with the gross profit over duration. I think that's responsible. I think most companies should do that.
So that's fancy language that not a lot of people understand. gross profit over. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the meaning behind that is? What do they get from you pricing things that way?
So what they get from us is we know how many jobs we're running in production at a time. We know how much it costs every day to keep the lights on, keep the salaries paid, keep the cattle fed, right? We got to keep the farm running.
There's no margin, there's no mission.
100%.
Right?
And so gross profit is essentially what is made after the cost of goods sold. So after the hard labor is paid and after the materials for the job is paid. Essentially everything else would be gross profit. And now that gross profit comes all the overhead expenses, the salaries, the rent, our license, our insurance, all that stuff comes out of there. Then what you're left with is net profit. Yeah. And so in the industry, like 8 to 12% is healthy net, and that's what we shoot for. There's contractors out there getting 15, 20% net, which I think is a little excessive.
Well, what's good about that is what I see from that is being in the flooring industry for so long and walking, we secret shop other stores too. Yeah. We want to see what's out there, right?
Oh yeah.
One of the things that I think that they get from that is most flooring stores have a different markup on lower range materials than they have higher range materials. Yeah. There's no across the board markup. So what they're almost doing is targeting people with forever homes, and they're just charging them a bunch more money than they do the guys, the entry level people.
Yeah.
Whereas here, your cost is reflective across the board. You're not taking someone that has more money and viewing them as a mark and charging them more
or ripping someone off
more. Yeah. Which is more or less ripping someone off.
100%, which is a big stigma.
Yeah, it is. So like whenever we're bidding against other stores, if we're bidding against an entry level product, then they're at that standard markup percentage. But we always win whenever they want a really nice carpet or a really nice hard surface floor, because we don't change our markup as the products get nicer like the industry does.
Well, let's continue this podcast about pricing and ethics, if you will. Great having you. I'm excited for our partnership, for our future, and until the next one.
Me as well. Thank you, Ryan.